Hello and welcome back to my channel. So you saw the title and the thumbnail that read words and phrases with different meanings, Filipino versus American. Filipinos use two English words which mean one thing to them and something different to us foreigners. Plus, I'm going to be getting into some phrases that Americans use that sound just as foreign to Filipinos. So before we get into it, I just want to say that I am coming to you from the Coco Loco restaurant, which is also a furniture store. This is a really cool place not far from the Mactan Newtown. So come here and check this place out. We come here and have breakfast and watch NFL football all the time. So I'm going to start this video off by talking about two English words that Filipinos use, and when Americans hear them spoken, Filipinos mean something different than what they mean to us. The first word is slang. To Americans, slang means to call something or someone by a different name than their formal term. So the official terminology for someone in law enforcement would be a police officer. But the slang term is cop. To Filipinos, slang means that if an American is speaking a Philippine language, the Filipino will often say, "You have slang," which means that you Americans have an accent. The second word is strict. To Americans, we tend to think of a strict person as someone who is in a position of authority. And they expect the rules to be followed, and if they're not, there's going to be some serious consequences. But to a Filipino, the word strict refers to an unfriendly person or rude individual. And I'm sad to say that some of us foreigners here in the Philippines are viewed as strict. So now let's get into some phrases that Americans use and we know what they mean, but Filipinos usually don't understand them. I'm going to share some of these phrases and explain what they mean, but these aren't in any particular order of importance. I just wrote them down as they came to me. The first American cliche is waiting for the other shoe to drop. This means that there is something that is going to happen and you know for a fact that it will happen. So a simple example is when night falls, you know that it's inevitable that the sun will rise the next morning. And so when Americans say, "I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop," it just means it's something that is going to happen without a doubt. Where this phrase came from is when you lived in an apartment building and your neighbor above you took their shoe off and dropped it on the floor. Well, then you knew that the other shoe was about to be dropped on the floor. And so you knew that sound was coming, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Next American cliche is bite the bullet. When an American says bite the bullet, it just means that you're going to have to deal with something unpleasant. This phrase comes from the 1860s during the American Civil War. Surgeons, if you can call them that, would give soldiers a bullet to bite on because they had to cut off the leg of a soldier and they didn't have any way to kill the pain. Biting down on a bullet really hard helped alleviate some of the pain, but not very much. Today there are bullets from that war with teeth marks in them. Bite the bullet. The next cliche is 6 to 1 and half a dozen to the other. This just means that there are two things that are identical. 6, half a dozen, they're the same. The next cliche, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. This one just means that a child adopts the same characteristics as their parents. Or people will also say like father, like son. Or you're a chip off the old block. The next cliche, barking up the wrong tree. This one just means that a person is looking in the wrong place. The phrase came from when a hunting dog was chasing an animal. The dog mistakenly thought that the animal ran up a different tree than the one that it actually ran up. So the dog positions itself at the wrong tree and is barking up the wrong tree. The next phrase, no sense in beating a dead horse. This one just means that there's no reason to try to obtain something that you know that you'll never be able to obtain. This one comes from the 1800s in the USA. It was at a time when people would beat their horses to try to get them to do something. But what if the horse was already been beaten to death? Then there's no sense in beating a dead horse. I really like this next one, to bite off more than one can chew. This just means that a person takes on more responsibility than what they can handle. So when you liken it to eating food, just take smaller bites. So I'm going to end this video with just these, but I can tell you there are tons more. The last one, cut to the chase. This phrase comes from old Hollywood films where the action scenes, the chase, were the most exciting part. What Americans actually mean is, get to the point. If someone says, can you cut to the chase, they're asking you to stop explaining the background and deliver the main idea quickly. Be careful with this phrase because it can sound impatient if used incorrectly. American English isn't just about vocabulary. It's about context, tone, and cultural shortcuts. These phrases don't make sense if you take them literally, but once you understand them, conversations suddenly become clearer. If you've ever felt confused by something an American said, chances are it was an idiom like one of these. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like, subscribe, and comment below. Which American phrase confused you the most? Also, remember that bell notification. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. God bless and peace out.